Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that might just set you free today. We are living in a time where kindness is mistaken for weakness and availability is confused with desperation. Oh yes, I'm gonna go there. See, some of y'all are giving away VIP access to people who shouldn't even be in the parking lot of your life. You keep smiling when you should be silent. You keep saying yes when your peace is screaming no. You keep showing up, showing love, showing grace. But baby, listen, just because it's good to be kind doesn't mean you should be careless with your access, because here's the truth, and I came to drop it straight. Hot and holy people do not value what is easily available. If you don't guard your spirit, if you don't place boundaries around your peace, if you don't understand the price of your presence, you'll wake up depleted, dishonored, and disrespected. I came to talk to the friendly folk, the overextenders, the people pleasers, the ones who pour into everybody, but don't get a drop back. God didn't call you to be everybody's therapist, everybody's doormat, everybody's savior. You are not discount merchandise. You are divinely designed, set apart, fearfully and wonderfully made. So today we gonna flip the script. Today we gonna draw the line. Today we stop being too available to people who are too unavailable to your value. Can I get a witness? So many people confuse having boundaries with having a bad attitude. They'll call you cold, distant, or say you've changed, when really you've just started honoring yourself. But the truth is, boundaries are not a sign of bitterness. They're a sign of wisdom. They are not walls to shut people out, but gates to let the right people in. A life without boundaries is a life that's wide open to disrespect, depletion, and distraction. You start allowing things that because you're afraid of breaking someone else's expectations. You stay too long in conversations that drain you, in rooms that dishonor you, in relationships that no longer see you, because you don't want to seem mean or selfish or difficult. But listen, boundaries are not about being mean. They are about meaning what you say. They are a declaration that you love yourself enough not be mishandled. When you don't set boundaries, you teach people that your time, your energy, your presence, all of it is up for grabs. You become emotionally bankrupt because you keep making withdrawals for people who never make deposits. And slowly but surely, your peace gets taxed, your joy gets compromised, your value gets discounted. But when you build boundaries, you tell the world, I know who I am, I know what I carry, and I'm not afraid to protect it. You stop apologizing for needing rest. You stop over-explaining why you're unavailable. You stop feeling guilty for prioritizing your peace, because you understand that love without boundaries is not love, it's bondage. Service without limits is not service, it's slavery. And kindness without wisdom is not virtue, it's vulnerability waiting to be violated. People respect what they have to reach for. They honor what is guarded. When you start drawing the line, people will either rise to the standard or remove themselves. And either way, you win, because the ones who truly value you will never be offended by the boundaries that protect you. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that being accessible to everyone will make us more loved, more accepted, or more respected. But access to you should never be automatic. It should be earned. When you give too much of yourself too quickly, you teach people to take you for granted. They begin to assume that no matter how they treat you, you'll always be there, always pick up the phone, always make time, even when they give you the bare minimum in return. That's not love, that's imbalance. You are not obligated to make yourself available to those who haven't demonstrated the character, consistency, or care to deserve it. Just because someone wants your attention doesn't mean they're worthy of your presence. You have to stop giving front row seats in your life to people who haven't even paid for general admission. Too many of us are giving daily access to people who only show up for convenience. They call when they need something, disappear when you need support. They celebrate you in public, but disrespect you in private. They want your wisdom, your prayers, your time, but they won't invest theirs in return. And the reason they keep doing it is because you keep allowing it. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And if access to you is too easy, too cheap, too free, then don't be surprised when it's mishandled. Your presence is powerful. Your energy is expensive. Your time is sacred. You don't have to be rude or arrogant to say, I don't give everybody access to me. That's not pride, it's preservation. It's knowing your worth. You've got to start evaluating who has access and why. Just because someone has a title in your life, a friend, a cousin, even a partner, doesn't mean they're living up to the responsibilities that come with that title. And if they're not, it's okay to revoke access, not out of hate, but out of healing, not from ego, but from evolution. You're not being mean, you're being mindful, because in this season of your life, you can't afford to let people in who drain you more than they develop you. There's a dangerous pattern many of us fall into, often without even realizing it. We keep giving, pouring, serving, and showing up even when we're empty. We think that the more we give, the more people will appreciate us. We believe that our value comes from how much we can sacrifice. But the hard truth is this: overgiving doesn't guarantee appreciation. It often invites underappreciation. When people get used to your yes, they stop seeing the weight it costs you to say it. When you're always available, always helpful, always saying, I got it, they start assuming that you don't need anything in return. They begin to expect your generosity like it's their right. Instead of recognizing it as a gift, you keep bending over backward for people who won't even lean forward for you. You stay up late listening to problems they created for themselves, praying prayers they don't even believe in, showing up when they wouldn't even return a call if the roles were reversed. And the sad part is they don't see your love as sacrifice, they see it as your job. They take your kindness for granted because it's become their convenience. Giving without limits doesn't make you a better person. It makes you an easier target. Every time you ignore your own needs to meet someone else's, you're sending a message that your well-being is optional. And trust me, people will take you at your silence, there comes a time when you have to pause and ask yourself, why am I giving so much to people who gives so little back? Why do I feel guilty setting boundaries around my energy? Why do I feel the need to earn love through sacrifice? That's not love, that's self-abandonment. Real relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, are built on mutual respect and reciprocity. When you give out of love, it should be met with gratitude, not entitlement. But if you keep overextending yourself, you'll end up bitter, exhausted, and resentful, not because of who they are, but because of what you allowed. You are not a vending machine that exists to serve everyone else's needs while neglecting your own. You are not called to be depleted just so others can be comfortable. You can still be kind and say no. You can still serve and choose rest. You can still be compassionate without becoming a casualty. Because the moment you stop over, giving is the moment you start reclaiming your peace. And those who truly care about you won't be offended by your limits, they'll respect them. There is something sacred about your presence, something powerful, something healing, something that shifts the atmosphere when you walk in the room. But if you don't recognize the value of your presence, you'll waste it on people and places that were never meant to carry it. You'll show up for folks who wouldn't cross the street for you. You'll pour into situations that keep leaking because they were never meant to hold what you carry. You have to learn how to preserve your presence. Not everyone deserves to experience the full version of you. Not everyone should have access to your time, your thoughts, your energy, or your emotional labor. When you start treating yourself like you're common, other people will too. Too many of us have been taught to be everywhere for everyone, and it's killing our peace. You don't have to attend every invite. You don't have to respond to every message. You don't have to explain your every move. Being present isn't just about being physically in a space. It's about investing your spirit, your mind, your heart into something, and you can't afford to keep investing in what doesn't give a return. You need discernment about where you go, who you're around, and what you allow to sit at your table, because every environment is not worthy of your energy. Every conversation is not worth your opinion. Every crisis is not your assignment. Preserving your presence means choosing purpose over popularity. It means being okay with not being everywhere, not being liked by everyone, not being available on demand. It's knowing that your life is not a community playground for people to come and go as they please. It's realizing that who you are carries weight, and that weight deserves honor. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop showing up for people who never notice when you're gone. Stop making yourself the solution to problems you didn't cause. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is distance. And sometimes the strongest move you can make is to walk away. When you protect your presence, you protect your peace, your purpose, your progress. And the people who really see you, who truly value who you are, won't demand constant access to you. They'll appreciate whatever piece of you they receive because they understand that presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. You're not being distant. You're being deliberate. You're not being cold. You're being careful. And that's not selfish. That's stewardship. There comes a point where you have to ask yourself, what is the cost of being liked? What are you sacrificing just to stay agreeable, just to keep the peace, just to make sure nobody is uncomfortable? Too many people are walking around drained, not because of what life is doing to them, because of what they keep allowing in the name of being nice. You smile when you want to cry. You say yes while your soul is screaming no. You keep giving chances, keep being the bigger person, keep showing grace to people who haven't earned your space, all because you don't want to be seen as difficult, cold, or selfish. But being liked is not worth being empty. It's not worth carrying other people's expectations while your own needs go unmet. People will always want access to the version of you that makes their lives easier. They love the helper, the listener, the fixer, the encourager, but who is checking on you? Who's pouring into you while you pour into everyone else? Being liked often comes at the cost of authenticity. You start shrinking your truth so you don't offend. You start hiding your exhaustion so you don't disappoint. You keep showing up with a full plate for people who wouldn't even bring a fork if the roles were reversed. And the dangerous part is the more you give without boundaries, the more people assume you don't have any. The more you make yourself available, the more invisible your needs become. There is nothing wrong with being kind. There is nothing wrong with being generous. But kindness without self-awareness becomes self-destruction. You don't owe anyone your peace. You don't owe anyone your constant agreement. You are allowed to say no without explanation. You are allowed to take up space without guilt. You are allowed to prioritize your healing, even if it means disappointing people who are used to you breaking yourself to keep them comfortable. Because real love doesn't require you to abandon yourself. Real respect doesn't demand silence in exchange for approval. You don't need everyone to like you, especially if the price is losing yourself. You don't need to keep proving your worth to people who only celebrate you when you're useful to them. When you stop chasing validation, you start attracting what's real. And when you stop living to be liked, you finally start living free. That's when peace shows up. That's when power rises. That's when the real version of you begins to breathe again.